The vast darkness of space is dotted with distant stars, but the sight that dominates the view is the looming alien fleet, stretching across the horizon. Hundreds of ships, each one more massive and advanced than anything Earth could ever build, move in perfect formation toward the planet. The alien empire, known across the galaxy for its unmatched technology and intelligence, has set its eyes on Earth. The invasion is inevitable, and their commander is confident that victory is assured. Inside the command ship of the alien fleet, the walls are lined with glowing panels and advanced technology. The alien commander, a tall, imposing figure with sleek silver armor, watches the approaching Earth defenses on its holographic display. He smirks as he examines the human military, primitive, disorganized, and clearly outclassed by the technologically superior alien forces. A pathetic army of primitive humans, the commander sneers. His voice carries the weight of arrogance, echoing through the command deck. He turns to his second-in-command, a slightly smaller alien with a sharp, calculating gaze. Prepare the troops. The Earthlings will fall without a fight. The second-in-command nods but hesitates before responding. Commander, there is something strange about the human fleet. Their ships, though small and outdated, are moving in a coordinated pattern. It's almost as if they know we're coming. The commander scoffs, dismissing the idea. Don't be foolish. Their tactics are outdated. They are nothing compared to our advanced strategies. We will destroy them in no time. As the alien fleet draws closer to Earth, their weapons come online, ready for the final strike. But what the commander and his forces don't know is that Earth has been hiding something far beyond their wildest expectations, something that could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. The camera zooms in on General Marcus, the leader of Earth's military forces, sitting calmly in the command center of their final defense station. His face is calm, almost unreadable, despite the impending battle. His eyes are fixed on the massive alien fleet, the very same fleet that has brought fear to countless civilizations. But General Marcus isn't afraid. He knows what the aliens don't. They've underestimated humanity. He stands up from his command chair, his voice steady and authoritative. Activate the secret weapon. A chill runs down the spines of the soldiers surrounding him. Everyone knows this is a last resort, a weapon so powerful, so deadly, that its very existence has been kept secret from the world. But now, Earth's last hope is about to be unleashed. As the soldiers scramble to initiate the weapon, the tension in the room is palpable. The weight of the moment presses down on everyone. What is this secret weapon? Is it enough to stop the alien juggernaut? And if it fails, Earth will fall, and humanity will be lost forever. In the midst of this tense atmosphere, the story takes a brief pause, shifting to the emotional core of the conflict. Flashbacks show human soldiers, like Lieutenant Sarah and Captain Bonner, undergoing grueling training in harsh conditions. The sweat on their brows, the exhaustion in their eyes, the sacrifices made by families and loved ones. Each moment is a testament to the strength and determination of humanity. Lieutenant Sarah's hand shakes as she recalls the day she enlisted, the day she made the decision to fight for her home. Her family had begged her to stay, to live a safe life far from the battlefield, but she couldn't. Humanity needed every soldier they could get. Every person was a part of this fight for survival. Now, as she straps herself into her fighter, ready for the worst, she thinks of her younger brother. She promised she would come home. Captain Bonner, a battle-hardened veteran, stands in front of a massive wall-sized map of Earth, tracing the paths of the incoming alien ships. His face is etched with years of experience, but even he feels the weight of this battle. The alien fleet is massive, and the odds are stacked against them. But he's fought for this moment for years. This is the moment Earth proves its worth to the galaxy. As the flashbacks fade and the present moment comes back into focus, General Marcus stands tall, his hand hovering over the activation button. He looks at the faces around him, his soldiers, his friends, his family. This weapon, this last hope, is their one chance. The Earth defense systems, though limited in firepower, are all that stand between the aliens and their home. Every life that has been lost in preparation for this day, every sacrifice made, has led them to this moment. The alien fleet, now within striking range, begins to power up its weapons. Earth's last line of defense is about to be tested. And all the while, the question remains, what is the secret weapon? Can humanity truly stand up against this technologically superior enemy? General Marcus gives a silent nod to his officers. He doesn't need to say anything more. The time has come, and as the first of the alien ships opens fire, the screen cuts to black, leaving the audience on the edge of their seats, wondering what happens next. Will the weapon work? Will Earth's soldiers be able to defy the odds and save their planet? The suspense builds, and the audience is left craving the next part of the story, eager to see what happens when humanity's secret weapon is finally revealed. The sky above Earth darkens as the alien fleet nears, their massive warships casting shadows over the planet. The air is thick with tension, the final moments before the inevitable clash. Earth's defense forces, though determined, are vastly outmatched by the alien technology. General Marcus watches from his command center, his face grim as the first wave of enemy ships begins to fire upon Earth's orbital defense stations. The aliens strike first. Their warships are sleek, powerful, and bristling with advanced weaponry. Each ship is capable of deploying devastating eye-controlled drones, which zoom through space with pinpoint accuracy, striking Earth's defense systems with laser-like precision. The station's shields flicker and fail as one by one. They are disabled. The invaders' overwhelming firepower cuts through humanity's best defenses like a hot knife through butter. From the alien command ship, the commander watches the devastation unfold. He smiles coldly, the arrogance in his eyes reflecting the complete confidence he has in his fleet. "This is how it should be," he mutters. "A weak planet, its defenses no match for our superiority." His voice echoes through the command deck as he addresses his crew. "Keep up the fire. This will be over soon." The alien ships launch another round of eye-controlled weapons, each blast taking out critical human satellites, orbital stations, and communication relays. Earth's response seems futile. A handful of human ships with outdated technology and smaller firepower launch counterattacks, but their weapons are ineffective against the advanced alien armor. Earth's forces are in disarray, and the alien forces, unchallenged in their supremacy, laugh in arrogance. A pathetic resistance. The commander sneers, watching as the last of Earth's orbital stations crumbles before the might of his fleet. The alien forces circle, confident of victory, their mockery of Earth's defenses rising to a crescendo. The invaders believe it is only a matter of time before they can land on Earth's surface and wipe out the human resistance for good. But in the midst of the chaos, something unexpected happens. Earth's forces, though battered, are not defeated. General Marcus orders the remaining human ships to fall back and regroup. His eyes burn with a fierce determination. There is still a chance. He knows that despite their advanced technology, the aliens have one weakness: complacency. They underestimate humanity's resilience, the very thing that makes humans dangerous. In the depths of space, Lieutenant Sarah, a young pilot who had never imagined a battle like this, grips the controls of her fighter with trembling hands. Her heart pounds in her chest as she watches Earth's defenses crumble. This is her first major battle, and the fear is overwhelming. She knows the stakes. Humanity's survival depends on their ability to fight back, but she's terrified. She thinks of her younger brother, back home, and her promise to return. As her fighter moves into position, she spots a group of alien ships closing in on a small human fleet. Sarah's palms sweat as she takes a deep breath. "Focus," she whispers to herself. "You can do this." She clenches her teeth and orders her ship to engage the cloaking device. For the first time in the battle, the humans use their own secret technology, cloaking devices. These devices are designed to make human ships invisible to alien sensors, As Sarah's ship vanishes from view, she feels a surge of hope. The alien forces may have superior technology, but they don't know Earth's true power. She watches as the alien ships scan the space around them, confused, unable to track the human fighters. One by one, the cloaked human ships strike. Using guerrilla tactics, they attack the alien fleet, disabling key ships with precision strikes. It's not much, but it's enough to cause confusion within the alien ranks. The invaders, once so confident, now find themselves on the defensive, unsure of where the human fleet is hiding. The damage to the alien ships is not extensive, but it's enough to slow them down, forcing them to retreat temporarily. Back at the command center, General Marcus watches the reports coming in. A small smile tugs at the corner of his lips. "It's working," he says quietly, more to himself than anyone else. Earth may not have the resources to fight head-on, but they fought in ways that the aliens couldn't possibly anticipate. Lieutenant Sarah, still cloaked and hidden, takes a moment to catch her breath. Her heart still races, but she knows that this brief victory has given the humans a precious opportunity to regroup. For a moment, it feels like the impossible might just be achievable. The fear that once gripped her is replaced by something else, something stronger. She isn't just fighting for her survival anymore. She's fighting for her family, for her home, for all of humanity. But the aliens are not defeated. They pull back, not in fear, but in disgust. "Fools," the alien commander sneers, watching as his forces retreat. "They think they can trick us. We have no need to waste more energy on them." He orders his fleet to regroup and plan a more strategic attack. Prepare for a full assault. This is just a temporary setback. Despite the temporary retreat, the message is clear. Earth is not as weak as the aliens thought. The battle has only just begun, and the stakes are higher than ever. The humans have shown that they will not go down without a fight. As the tension builds, Lieutenant Sarah's voice cracks through the comms. "We can win this. We have to." Her words, though simple, carry the weight of humanity's hope. The fate of Earth rests on the shoulders of the brave souls who continue to fight, no matter the odds. And for the first time in this battle, the aliens are starting to doubt their certainty of victory. The clash is far from over. This is just the beginning, and Earth's fight for survival is only heating up. The question now is not whether the aliens will win, but how long they will underestimate humanity's resolve. The battle had taken an unexpected turn. The once confident alien forces, who had believed Earth's military to be weak and disorganized, were now starting to question everything. What they had initially written off as a hopeless defense was proving to be far more complex and capable than they had anticipated. The cloaked human ships had struck, leaving the aliens in a state of confusion. And just when they thought they had regained control, the real shock came. General Marcus stood in the heart of Earth's command center, his gaze fixed on the holographic displays that illuminated the darkened room. His face, usually stern and composed, now carried the weight of an enormous secret. For decades, humanity had built something so powerful, so secret, that even the aliens had no idea it existed. The time had come to reveal Earth's greatest weapon, the one thing that would turn the tide of the battle in their favor. "Activate the fleet," Marcus commanded, his voice steady but carrying a tone of unshakable determination. His orders were clear, and the moment had finally arrived. As the human fleet emerged from cloaking, the sheer scale of what the aliens were about to face became apparent. What had once been thought to be a few small, desperate ships was now revealed to be a massive fleet, an armada of hidden star destroyers, each equipped with the most advanced AI systems and cloaking technology that humanity had been secretly developing for decades. The aliens had no idea what was coming. As the human fleet appeared out of nowhere, the alien forces were thrown into chaos. They had just managed to regroup after their initial setback, but this new development left them stunned. The star destroyers, sleek and imposing, moved with precision and speed, their eye-controlled systems allowing them to coordinate seamlessly in ways the alien fleet had not expected. General Marcus' fleet wasted no time in taking advantage of the element of surprise. The human ships fired their weapons with brutal efficiency, their advanced AI guiding each strike with deadly accuracy. Explosions rippled through the alien ranks as the humans launched wave after wave of carefully calculated attacks. The once formidable alien fleet, so sure of its dominance, was now reeling from the unexpected onslaught. The alien commander, who had once stood so confidently in his command center, watched in disbelief as his fleet began to falter. His hands trembled as he gripped the armrests of his command chair, trying to make sense of what was happening. "This cannot be," he muttered to himself, his voice filled with disbelief. "These are not ordinary humans. They should have been crushed by our might." The human ships moved with precision, coordinating in ways the alien forces couldn't fathom. The advanced AI allowed the human fleet to predict alien movements and counter them in real time. Every strike felt personal, as though the humans were not just fighting for survival, but fighting to protect everything they held dear. The aliens, still reeling from the shock of the sudden attack, scrambled to respond, but their disarray only made them more vulnerable. The alien commander, now desperate, ordered a full counterstrike. "Gather the fleet. Prepare to retaliate. We cannot allow them to continue this assault," he barked, his voice a mix of fear and anger. But it was too late. The humans had already anticipated the counterattack. Their knowledge of Earth's terrain, their understanding of the planet's defensive capabilities, and their unparalleled adaptability gave them the edge they needed. As the alien ships launched their retaliatory strike, the human fleet began to execute their next phase of the plan. Using their advanced knowledge of the battlefield and the terrain, they set traps, luring the alien ships into vulnerable positions. The humans used their smaller, more agile ships to outmaneuver the larger alien vessels, leading them into tight spots where their superior firepower could be used to devastating effect. The strategy was working. Slowly but surely, the tide of the battle was turning. The alien commander, his mind racing, watched as his ships fell one by one. He had underestimated the humans. What was supposed to be a simple conquest was turning into a nightmare. He had never considered the possibility that Earth might be hiding such advanced technology, and now he was paying the price for his arrogance. But despite the growing terror in the alien ranks, the commander refused to admit defeat. He barked more orders, sending his ships in a frenzied attempt to break through the human lines. But the humans, armed with their superior tactics and technology, were more than prepared for the onslaught. The battlefield had become a chaotic dance, with both sides locked in a brutal struggle for dominance. As explosions echoed across the space, Marcus watched from his command center with a quiet sense of satisfaction. This was the moment he had been waiting for. The aliens had never thought that humans could have such power, but now they knew. Earth was not the weak, primitive planet they had once thought it to be. This was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a fight for humanity's place in the galaxy. And the humans were winning. General Marcus turned to his officers, a glimmer of resolve in his eyes. "Keep pushing forward. We've only just begun." The battle raged on, the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. The aliens, still in shock, were struggling to maintain control, their once confident superiority slipping away with every passing moment. The human fleet, fueled by a relentless determination and powered by technology beyond the aliens' wildest dreams, was proving to be a force unlike anything the invaders had ever faced. For the first time since the battle began, the alien commander felt the grip of fear. His fleet, once the epitome of technological might, was now on the verge of being shattered by a force they had underestimated. And as the battle continued to unfold, one thing became clear. The aliens had made a grave mistake. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. The battle had reached a new level of intensity. What began as a distant, high-tech war in space had now descended into the heart of the alien warships themselves. Earth's fleet, bolstered by the surprise appearance of their star destroyers and cloaking technology, pushed forward with relentless force, driving the aliens back. The once dominant alien fleet, though technologically superior, was now out of its depth. The human will to survive was too strong, too desperate for the aliens to contain. The sound of explosions filled the space around them as human ships docked with the alien warships, their massive hulls vibrating with each impact. The humans had made it inside the enemy's vessels. The battle had gone from high-tech dogfights to fierce, hand-to-hand combat. Soldiers from both sides clashed in narrow, dimly lit corridors aboard the alien ships. Alien soldiers, powerful and quick, faced off against the determined humans armed with experimental cutting-edge weapons. It was a brutal, unforgiving fight, and the stakes had never been higher. The human ships moved with precision, coordinating in ways the alien forces couldn't fathom. The advanced AI allowed the human fleet to predict alien movements and counter them in real time. Every strike felt personal, as though the humans were not just fighting for survival, but fighting to protect everything they held dear. The aliens, still reeling from the shock of the sudden attack, scrambled to respond, but their disarray only made them more vulnerable. The alien commander, now desperate, ordered a full counterstrike. "Gather the fleet. Prepare to retaliate. We cannot allow them to continue this assault," he barked, his voice a mix of fear and anger. But it was too late. The humans had already anticipated the counterattack. Their knowledge of Earth's terrain, their understanding of the planet's defensive capabilities, and their unparalleled adaptability gave them the edge they needed. As the alien ships launched their retaliatory strike, the human fleet began to execute their next phase of the plan. Using their advanced knowledge of the battlefield and the terrain, they set traps, luring the alien ships into vulnerable positions. The humans used their smaller, more agile ships to outmaneuver the larger alien vessels, leading them into tight spots where their superior firepower could be used to devastating effect. The strategy was working. Slowly but surely, the tide of the battle was turning. The alien commander, his mind racing, watched as his ships fell one by one. He had underestimated the humans. What was supposed to be a simple conquest was turning into a nightmare. He had never considered the possibility that Earth might be hiding such advanced technology, and now he was paying the price for his arrogance. But despite the growing terror in the alien ranks, the commander refused to admit defeat. He barked more orders, sending his ships in a frenzied attempt to break through the human lines. But the humans, armed with their superior tactics and technology, were more than prepared for the onslaught. The battlefield had become a chaotic dance, with both sides locked in a brutal struggle for dominance. As explosions echoed across the space, Marcus watched from his command center with a quiet sense of satisfaction. This was the moment he had been waiting for. The aliens had never thought that humans could have such power, but now they knew. Earth was not the weak, primitive planet they had once thought it to be. This was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a fight for humanity's place in the galaxy. And the humans were winning. General Marcus turned to his officers, a glimmer of resolve in his eyes. "Keep pushing forward. We've only just begun." The battle raged on, the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. The aliens, still in shock, were struggling to maintain control, their once confident superiority slipping away with every passing moment. The human fleet, fueled by a relentless determination and powered by technology beyond the aliens' wildest dreams, was proving to be a force unlike anything the invaders had ever faced. For the first time since the battle began, the alien commander felt the grip of fear. His fleet, once the epitome of technological might, was now on the verge of being shattered by a force they had underestimated. And as the battle continued to unfold, one thing became clear. The aliens had made a grave mistake. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. The battle had reached a new level of intensity. What began as a distant, high-tech war in space had now descended into the heart of the alien warships themselves. Earth's fleet, bolstered by the surprise appearance of their star destroyers and cloaking technology, pushed forward with relentless force, driving the aliens back. The once dominant alien fleet, though technologically superior, was now out of its depth. The human will to survive was too strong, too desperate for the aliens to contain. The sound of explosions filled the space around them as human ships docked with the alien warships, their massive hulls vibrating with each impact. The humans had made it inside the enemy's vessels. The battle had gone from high-tech dogfights to fierce, hand-to-hand combat. Soldiers from both sides clashed in narrow, dimly lit corridors aboard the alien ships. Alien soldiers, powerful and quick, faced off against the determined humans armed with experimental cutting-edge weapons. It was a brutal, unforgiving fight, and the stakes had never been higher. Captain Bonner led his squad through the twisting halls of the alien ship. His heart raced, but his focus was razor-sharp. He had always been a steady leader, and his team respected him. His squad was deep inside one of the alien warships, moving with precision to take control of key areas and disable critical systems. With each step, they encountered more of the enemy. Each encounter was more intense than the last. Bonner's face was covered in sweat, but his eyes were full of fire. The humans were outgunned and outmatched in terms of technology. The alien soldiers wore sleek, high-tech armor that was almost impenetrable, but the humans had something the aliens didn't: the will to survive, to protect their families, to fight for Earth. That sheer determination made all the difference. As the humans pushed deeper into the heart of the alien ship, the tide began to turn. The aliens, despite their technological advantage, faltered. They weren't prepared for this. Human soldiers fighting like animals, driven by a fierce desire to protect everything they loved. But the victory was not without sacrifice. As Captain Bonner's squad reached the heart of the alien ship, they encountered a wave of enemies. The aliens had regrouped, bringing their most elite soldiers to protect their command center. The air was thick with tension as Bonner led his team into the fray. There was no turning back. The humans had to push forward, no matter the cost. In the chaos of the battle, Bonner fought with everything he had. He fought not just for survival, but for the future of humanity. His squad followed his lead, cutting down alien soldiers, using their new weapons with skill and precision. They had no choice but to keep moving forward. Then, in an instant, everything changed. A sudden explosion rocked the ship, and Bonner was thrown back. The blast was deafening, and for a moment, everything seemed to slow down. When the smoke cleared, Bonner was on the ground, blood pooling around him. His men rushed to his side, but it was too late. The captain, the heart of the squad, had fallen. The loss of Captain Bonner was felt like a punch to the gut. His death wasn't just the loss of a leader. It was the loss of a symbol of everything the humans were fighting for. Bonner had been the one who always held them together, the one who kept hope alive when all seemed lost. His death marked a turning point. For the human soldiers, it was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a fight for his memory, for everything he had sacrificed. As his squad mourned the loss of their beloved captain, the emotional weight of the moment sank in. They had come so far, had fought so hard, and now they had lost one of their own. But there was no time to mourn. The enemy was closing in, and there was still work to be done. Bonner's sacrifice became the rallying cry the humans needed. If he could give his life for Earth, then they could fight on for him, for the future of humanity. As the battle raged on, the human soldiers fought with renewed strength, their pain transforming into a fierce resolve. They pushed forward with even more determination, each step fueled by the memory of Captain Bonner. The aliens had underestimated the humans before. They would make the same mistake again. The fight continued in the bowels of the alien ships, where the air was thick with smoke and the sound of gunfire echoed through the corridors. The human soldiers were outnumbered, but they fought with a ferocity that made them nearly unstoppable. Their experimental weapons, though crude compared to the alien tech, were proving to be surprisingly effective. Explosions rocked the ship, setting off fireballs in the darkness. The humans used every advantage they could, including hand-to-hand combat, using knives, plasma rifles, and anything they could get their hands on. The visual details of the battle painted a vivid picture. Human soldiers darting through fiery, smoke-filled corridors, taking down alien soldiers in brutal hand-to-hand combat, while others planted explosives or hacked into enemy systems. The human soldiers had come a long way from the weak and primitive force the aliens had once mocked. The emotional core of the battle was felt in every punch, every strike, and every sacrifice. The camera followed the soldiers through every gruesome battle, showing the raw and visceral nature of their fight. Despite the alien technological superiority, the humans had found a way to make it their own fight. The aliens had their advanced weapons, their sleek armor, and their eye-controlled systems, but the humans had something more powerful: their unwavering spirit. They had everything to lose and nothing to gain by surrendering, and that made them a force to be reckoned with. As the battle intensified, the human forces made their way deeper into the heart of the alien warship. With each alien soldier they defeated, they grew stronger, more unified in their goal. But the pain of Bonner's death weighed heavily on their hearts. He had been a hero, and now they fought not just for survival, but to honor his memory. The aliens had made a terrible mistake when they underestimated humanity, and they were about to pay the price. The alien flagship loomed ominously over Earth, its massive form blocking out the sun. Its weapons were fully charged, ready to deal the final blow to the human race. General Marcus stood before his war room, watching the holographic images of the alien fleet preparing for the final assault. The fate of Earth rested on a knife's edge. This was it. There would be no more chances after this. Either humanity would fall, or they would rise up and claim victory. Marcus had made the hardest decision of his life. He was going to take the fight directly to the alien flagship. He knew the risks, but he also knew that Earth's survival depended on it. He looked at the small team of elite soldiers standing before him, each of them handpicked for this suicide mission. They were all brave, capable, and willing to give everything to save their planet. In the midst of the war, they had come together as a family, bound by a single goal: to defeat the invaders. "Ready yourself," Marcus said to his team, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "We're going in. We don't stop until we take down their commander." The soldiers nodded in unison. They knew that this wasn't just a mission. This was the final stand. They would fight with everything they had, knowing that the fate of Earth and their own lives hung in the balance. With the team's preparation complete, they boarded their stealth spacecraft, cloaked from the alien sensors. As they closed in on the alien flagship, the enormous size of the vessel seemed to swallow the darkness around them. It was a beast of war, its hull covered in dark metallic armor, and it was heavily guarded by dozens of smaller ships. The team moved swiftly, using the cover of darkness and their cloaking devices to avoid detection. The ship's interior was a labyrinth of corridors, and every step they took brought them closer to the heart of the alien warship, closer to the alien commander, the one responsible for the destruction of so many human lives. The final showdown would be fought not only with weapons, but with strategy, strength, and sheer determination. As they infiltrated the ship's defenses, the team encountered fierce alien resistance. The corridors were filled with traps and advanced alien technology that seemed to bend reality itself. But the humans were undeterred. They fought through waves of alien soldiers, their weapons blazing as they cut their way toward the command center. As they approached the heart of the flagship, Marcus and his team encountered the alien commander's elite guards, highly trained and augmented beings. They were fierce and relentless, their movements swift and calculated. But the human soldiers were fighting for something more powerful than technology or training. They were fighting for Earth, for their families, for the future of mankind. Their desperation turned into raw power as they fought through the alien defenses, determined to reach their target. Finally, they reached the command center. The alien commander stood before them, a towering figure of supreme arrogance and confidence. His eyes gleamed with the belief that victory was already his. But Marcus wasn't intimidated. He stepped forward, his heart pounding in his chest, his mind focused on the task at hand. "We're not going down without a fight," Marcus declared, his voice steady, though the weight of his words carried the full force of humanity's struggle. "You may have the technology, but we have something you'll never understand. We have the will to survive. We have the heart to keep fighting, no matter what." The alien commander sneered at him. "You humans are nothing more than insects. Your resistance is futile. I will crush you and your pathetic planet." Marcus took a deep breath. His team gathered behind him, ready for the final confrontation. This was the moment. The alien forces outside the flagship continued their assault on Earth, but within the walls of the command center, time seemed to stand still. The tension was palpable. Every breath felt like it could be the last. The fight began. The alien commander was fast, his movements unnatural as he wielded a weapon of unimaginable power. But Marcus was no stranger to combat. He fought with everything he had, his team supporting him with every strike. The clash of weapons, the sound of fists connecting, and the hiss of energy blasts filled the air. Sparks flew, and the floor beneath them shook as if the very ship were alive with the violence of their battle. In the midst of the chaos, Marcus knew that this was their only chance. He fought not just for survival, but for the future of his people, for his family, for the generations yet to come. His mind was clear, his resolve unbreakable. As the alien commander lunged at him with a vicious strike, Marcus dodged, using his strength and agility to counter. His soldiers fought with equal fury, cutting down the alien guards one by one. The final moments of the battle were a blur. Marcus and the alien commander clashed with every ounce of strength they had left. The commander's weapon struck with devastating force, but Marcus was determined. He remembered every sacrifice made by his soldiers, every life lost in the name of survival. As the alien commander prepared for one final, crushing blow, Marcus saw his opportunity. With a burst of strength, he disarmed the commander and, with a swift motion, delivered a fatal blow. The commander collapsed to the ground, defeated at last. But the battle wasn't over. The human team quickly took control of the command center, disabling the alien fleet's ability to continue their assault on Earth. As they worked to shut down the alien forces, Marcus stood over the fallen commander, breathing heavily. His chest ached, his body bruised and battered. But he had done it. Earth had done it. The battle outside the flagship continued, but the humans had won a crucial victory. With the alien commander's death, the remaining alien forces began to retreat. The balance of power had shifted, and humanity had proven that no matter how impossible the odds, they could and would survive. As Marcus and his team returned to Earth, the soldiers looked up at the stars with new hope. They had fought with everything they had, and they had won. The final stand had been their moment of triumph, and it was a victory that would echo throughout the galaxy for generations to come. The war was over. The humans had proven their strength, their resolve, and their indomitable will to survive. And in the end, that was what had made all the difference. The final moments of the battle felt surreal to Marcus. The ship he had fought so hard to destroy was now nothing more than a burning hulk in the vastness of space. The alien commander was gone, and with him, the backbone of the invader's strategy. The once mighty flagship had crumbled under the might of human resilience and sheer determination. But even as victory was within reach, the cost was immense. The alien fleet, now leaderless and disoriented, had retreated, but the price of their victory was high. The battlefield around Earth was a desolate wasteland of twisted metal and burning wreckage. Humanity's forces had suffered heavy losses. Entire fleets of ships had been destroyed, and thousands of soldiers, brave men and women, had given their lives to ensure the survival of their planet. Yet, despite the devastation, Earth stood tall. The alien threat had been repelled, and humanity had proven to the galaxy that they were not to be underestimated. As the alien ships fled, the remaining human forces began to regroup. Lieutenant Sarah, along with the other survivors, stood in the ruins of the battlefield, looking out at the wreckage. Her heart was heavy with the weight of what had been lost. She had fought alongside her comrades, and many of them were gone now. Captain Bonner, one of the most respected leaders, was dead, and the grief of his loss was a wound that would take a long time to heal. But despite the sorrow, there was a sense of triumph in the air. They had done it. They had won. Sarah stood tall, her face streaked with dirt and blood, but her eyes were fierce. She had never imagined that she would live to see this day, this victory. Earth's forces had been seen as weak, primitive, and outmatched. The alien empire had underestimated them, believing that their superior technology and might would crush humanity. But Earth had proven otherwise. In the face of overwhelming odds, they had fought back and emerged victorious. As the survivors of the battle returned to Earth, the mood was bittersweet. Soldiers who had once feared their own extinction were now hailed as heroes. The streets of Earth's cities were filled with people cheering, celebrating the victory that had come at such a high cost. The media broadcasted the news to every corner of the planet. Humanity had defeated the alien empire, and the galaxy would never be the same again. But amidst the celebrations, Marcus knew that the war was far from over. The enemy had been driven back, but the universe was vast, and humanity's place in it had just begun. The stars above had always seemed so distant, but now they were closer than ever. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, and they were not going to give it up easily. Marcus stood on the observation deck of Earth's new command center, looking out at the sky. The war was over, but the journey had just begun. The universe was full of unknown threats, and humanity would need to be ready for whatever came next. He had led his people to victory, but there was still so much more to learn. The alien forces might have retreated, but the galaxy was a vast and mysterious place, and there were other powers out there, watching. As he stood there, deep in thought, a faint shadow flickered in the corner of his vision. It was just a passing moment, a glimpse of something he couldn't quite identify. But it was enough to make him pause. Was it just his mind playing tricks on him, or was there someone, watching them from afar? Marcus turned his gaze to the stars, his brow furrowing slightly. He knew that the peace they had won might not last forever. A new threat could be looming on the horizon, waiting for its moment to strike. The camera panned out, showing Earth's battered surface, the remnants of the battle still visible in space. But amidst the destruction, the planet stood firm, a symbol of humanity's unyielding will to survive. The darkness of space stretched out, vast and endless, with the promise of new challenges waiting in the unknown. The war with the alien empire was over, but the story was far from finished. As the camera zoomed out further, a dark figure could be seen standing in the distance, hidden in the shadows of space. It was unclear who or what it was, but its presence was undeniable. Whoever or whatever it was clear that humanity's fight was far from over. The victory they had earned today would only be the beginning of a new chapter in the galaxy's history. The final words echoed in Marcus's mind as he stared into the vastness of space. We've won today, but tomorrow is uncertain. The battle had been long and hard, but the future was still unwritten. The universe was full of unknowns, and humanity had just begun to carve out its place in it. For now, humanity would celebrate. They had fought, sacrificed, and triumphed. But the shadow of the unknown loomed, and as the stars blinked in the distance, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that Earth's struggle for survival was far from over. The victory had been hard won, but the new dawn of humanity had just begun.